I've been living with my grandfather ever since I was a child. I don't remember my parents too much, but from what I do remember, they were nice, but there was always something off about them. But my grandfather, he was different. He had a strange hobby. He liked to collect marionettes, creepy-looking little bastards, but in a way they had this comforting feel to them, as if I could see them and feel safe. Anyway, my grandfather told me when I was young about this one room that he had never wanted me to go in. He never told me why, just that it was important that I never went in, and I assured him that I wouldn't. But on my 16th birthday, the door just seemed to call out to me. I had to go to it. It wasn't a want, it was an undeniable need to touch the door. When I walked to it, my grandfather called out to me, as if in pain. I ignored him and continued on towards the door. He kept calling to me, but begging for me to come to him, but I couldn't stop. I heard the marionettes chattering, but I thought it was the wind. If only I knew then what I knew now, I would have never opened the door. But I didn't know, and I did open it. When I pulled the door open, a bitter cold ran through me, and there was nothing but darkness and silence. As I looked into the dark room, my grandfather's scream suddenly cut through the silence, and I couldn't leave him any longer. I had to go to him, and when I went to him, all I saw was blood and marionettes on the ground. His throat was slashed. But by who, and when had they gotten past me? I couldn't help but wonder this as I looked at the gory scene. After a few years, I forced myself to go back. Well, more pulled back than forced. I felt like I had to go back there. I couldn't stop the thoughts of the old shop. When I returned there, the door was cold, yet welcoming. I pushed the old wood door open and looked in. The darkness that greeted me was chilling, but somewhat warm. I continued into the room and looked about. The light shining in from outside shined on a table, and on that table was a female marionette. She sat looking at the door that I was never allowed to open. A cold wind blew in, and the doll fell over. More seemed to turn towards me. Her eyes, they were so cold, so lonely. I searched the room for a light switch, and soon found one. As soon as the room was bathed in light, I could see it was filled with dolls. For a moment, I could see everything before the bulb burst, and I was drenched in darkness once again. Darkness and silence. That is, until a voice cut through the darkness. A female voice.
He was weak, but you are strong.
Who's there? Show yourself! Silence fell off the room once more. Must have been my imagination playing tricks on me. He was weak. I am strong?
He had to go. Couldn't stay. Couldn't take care of us.
He? Do you mean you killed him, didn't you?
You were strong and opened the door. He was weak.
I got a cold chill running down my spine as I felt the strings on my neck, barely touching me, but definitely there. The cold wood on my arms and hands. The room felt like it was closing in, like eyes were watching me from all corners of it, like the marionettes, like they were coming for me. It was a few years ago, and now I've taken over the business. You heard it too, didn't you? Don't worry, if you're strong, you have nothing to fear. But however, if you're weak...
Welcome home, Father.